J.Mark Swartzentruber here. Welcome to the channel Cinephiles. I make comedy videos for you. So that sounds good to you, consider subscribing. I'm gonna be showing you guys the first time I ever tried stand-up comedy. My first open mic. Boy, was it a cringy experience. I was waved off stage, actually. We're gonna listen to the 5 minutes of me being on stage, and then there's like a whole second part of the story. Growing up, I've loved comedy, period, ever since I was a kid, and really started to appreciate stand-up comedy when I was in my teens. Ever since then, really, I've wanted to try it. And a couple years ago, I'm almost 25 now, but a couple years ago, for my New Year's resolution, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna have a career in this, but I love comedy. I like writing. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try my first open mic. I'm just gonna do it. And so, like, fast forward like 4 months later, on April 1st, I believe on Easter, it was when I finally worked up the nerve and scheduled an open mic at a local brewery, and I went and did it. Boy, was it a whirlwind experience. So without further ado, my first open mic.
Howdy. All right. So, to start out, what do you guys call kangaroos that test trampolines? Astronauts. All right, that's for the kangaroo lovers out there. Okay. So I don't know if you guys heard this past week, one of the Planned Parenthood centers tweeted out a very, I think, great tweet actually. Unfortunately, got a lot of controversy, and they deleted it. But I think it's too bad. I think that there were a lot of great ideas in this tweet that people aren't really taking notice of, you know. And I think that we, as American citizens, should really respect all of the great ideas that were in this freaking tweet. And I'm gonna read it on paper, which I don't know what that says about me, but yeah. So we're just gonna go through it, and let's just pick out the good ideas, and then we'll just spit out the bombs. So let's see here. All right, so this is a great.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I think this is a great start. I think they really started out strong. And for those of you who don't know, they're basically Planned Parenthood was giving Disney ideas for new Disney princesses. So starting out, we need a Disney princess who's had an abortion. We need a Disney princess who had an abortion. Perfect. Honestly, great idea. Why hasn't anyone thought about it sooner? I can just see the TV advertisement right now, you know, little Susie wakes up on Christmas morning, you know, runs downstairs, you know, she runs up to her Christmas tree and she pulls out her present, rips off, and knocks on the microphone, rips off the wrapping paper, and it's Disney's Jezebel, the new Disney princess who's had an abortion. And she pulls the doll out of the box, and she's, you know, Jezebel has like a big smile on her face, you know, really cute. And she has like a blue magic like fairy gown on, like so beautiful. She also has the dress on that she was wearing during the abortion, so it's like all bloody. But it fits, it still fits. It still fits.
Oh my gosh.
And she also has accessories, because, you know, Disney doesn't skimp on the accessories. So, you know, she has like a wand,
Plowing through it.
and a crown, glass slippers, and one of those 1950s like do-it-yourself home abortion kits with like the tube that goes up the vagina.
Oh.
But yeah,
boy.
I mean, I could see it sound like hotcakes, honestly. Let's see. Next one. We need a Disney princess who's a documented immigrant. Sure, yeah, I can see it. I'm thinking like Belle. But with like a mini skirt because of like her dress ripped off when she was hopping the fence. Let's see.
I don't know why that O was louder than the one before.
A union worker. Sure, why not? I'm thinking like, I don't know what you guys think, like Elsa, but with like a hairy chest and like bigger arms. So that could work. Let's see. This is kind of a weird one. So, I mean, I like where their head's at. I like the thought process behind this one. We need a Disney princess who's trans. Again, I see where they're coming from, but I think Jasmine already has a mustache, so we can just skip that one. Okay, and here's one. We need a Disney princess who's pro-choice. I think this one's a little weird. I mean, coming from Planned Parenthood, when I was reading the tweet, I just assumed all of them would be pro-choice. Like, especially the one who's had an abortion. Like, you'd think at least she would be pro-choice. I don't know, personally, I think it would be funny if the trans princess wasn't pro-choice, like she was pro-life, and so and yeah, I think it'd be kind of funny, like if she was like, okay, you know, I'm like they're interviewing her on the news, and she's like, okay, you know, listen, I'm transgender, and you know, but I'm pro-life, and I don't want anyone to judge me. I'm fine with turning my vagina inside out and not a baby inside out, and I don't want anyone to judge me. All right. All right. Thanks a lot. You guys have been great.
Oh boy, I always get like a burst of adrenaline after listening to that. So there's a whole second part to this story. So how did I feel on stage? So I'm on stage. I'm like worked up all this courage, trying to prepare, finding an open mic, and going into it, my wife and I knew that that material was more intense, right? And so I reached out to the host while I was reserving my spot and asked him if there was any content restrictions, and he said there were not. So I show up, and the host tells us all that we have 7 minutes, and then when we have like 1 minute to go, he's gonna wave his phone from the back so we know that we have like 1 minute to go and to start wrapping it up. And you know, when I'm waiting, you know, there's a guy that like makes a joke about being raped by his dad. So for me, content is farthest from my mind. I figured a lot of people wouldn't laugh or some people would be uncomfortable, but you know, when you're trying out comedy, you gotta try stuff out, feel what works. For me, I was just focused on getting through it. I was so nervous just being on stage, which is one reason why it's so cringy and funny for me listening back to it, is because I'm so just plowing through it. Like even like I start out with a kangaroo joke and I get some laughs and I'm like, keep going, Planned Parenthood. When I'm up there, I've been practicing in my apartment for weeks and not getting any laughs, and so I'm on stage, I get like 3 or 4 laughs in the span of 5 minutes. So I'm like, hey, all right, I got some laughs. So I get off stage and I'm just on a high. I'm on such a high. I'm like, I did it. I talked about what I wanted to talk about. I tried stand up. It's something I've wanted to do ever since I was a teenager. I finally did it. I overcame my fear and tried it. And I sit down. So, but I was also confused. So I had 7 minutes of material prepared. There was another bit after the Planned Parenthood story, whole like another minute or two, because I only did 5 minutes. And so about 4 minutes in, almost through with the Planned Parenthood stuff, and I see the host wave from the back. And I'm like, oh, well, whatever. Okay, I guess I'll just finish this joke and then wrap up. And it's kind of funny. Anyways, we'll get back to that. So he waves me off. I'm like, okay, so 5 minutes, whatever. And I come down, all like I said, on such a high. And I sit down and he goes to up on the stage to comment on me and then bring up the next person. And that's when things started to get really weird and kind of being like a whirlwind kind of experience. He proceeded to basically virtue signal for a minute or two. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but this is just what he said. Like, wow, how about that? And then he proceeded to say, comedy is about punching up. And that was just a lot of punching down. Doesn't save it at all. Just is like, I don't like any of that. I'm just distancing myself. And he brings up the next person. And I remember thinking, well, that's a little weird, frustrating. And he talks to me, he's like, dude, what was that? He's like, this wasn't your first time doing stand-up, was it? Looking back, that was like the highest compliment of the whole thing. So I was like, no, this is my first time doing stand-up. And he's like, dude, what the heck? Some people got up and left. He ended up saying, come back sometime and try again. But yeah, so leaving, I was very, very, very frustrated. And I think the reason I was frustrated is because, again, asked before if there were any content restrictions. Other people were talking about intense things. For sure, like going head first into it for 4 minutes. Like, I understand why people walked out. And when I left, people were out smoking. They were on a smoke break. And so, and they were talking about the bit a little bit. They're like, I can't believe he would, joke about that. And listen, it's a free country, right? It's an open mic. There are no content restrictions. You're free to go outside and take a smoke break. That's how I feel. And with it being punching down, I certainly don't think you should bully. But I was not talking about anybody in particular. I'm talking about these big ideas. You know what? If Planned Parenthood is going to be so stupid to put out such a stupid tweet, he acknowledged that it was a stupid tweet, then you know what? It's fair game to rail against them. And what did I learn from this whole experience? As a performer, obviously you want people to laugh more. If I was to go to the brewery again, try that material again, obviously I would like shave a lot of it off. The Jasmine already having a mustache thing, that got a laugh. So maybe I would just focus on that part of the tweet. Try and ride the line a little bit more of like the laughs to the cringe, not be like 90% cringe. But that's just a part of comedy. You try stuff out. And I think that was one of the really frustrating things about the whole experience, was that it was certainly not a very welcoming place, you know, with new people trying stuff out. Like, listen, I certainly, message received, I certainly understood that if I'm gonna be making people laugh for 7 minutes, like, I'm obviously gonna have to make tweaks to the material. One of the other things I learned, which is a big thing, is that it honestly drove me to YouTube, because, you know, I was watching people like Filthy Frank do, you know, try stuff out in skits for like a specific audience that never would work on just a stage with a general audience. And then the third thing was, a year later, almost to the day, you know, after making YouTube videos, like, I realized I hadn't done another open mic in a year. For me, I was like, you know what, that was a very frustrating whirlwind experience. Like, it's almost hard to tell where to put it sometimes, like, what to do with it. And I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna do another open mic, just to prove to myself that, you know, every experience is gonna be different. I like writing comedy, I like performing it on stage, so I'm gonna try it again. And so this picture that I've been showing in the video actually is from my second time performing stand-up. All in all, definitely a whirlwind experience, definitely a huge moment for me in terms of like my, you know, comedy career and how like I feel about it. You know, I feel like, yeah, it was really important, and so I figured a few of you would find this interesting. So definitely let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the whole thing. Being the one in it, I mean, it's still endlessly cringy to this day after listening to it who knows how many times. So I'm sure I'd love to get your guys' thoughts in the comments. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video and want to see how my comedy's evolved in the past couple years, click on this next video. I think you're gonna dig it. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.